Hello everyone. I hope everyone is fine and doing good within these days. So today I'm here to discuss about Python Revision 2 chapter 1 of class 12. So let us have a look to the modules which we'll be going to discuss in our today's session. So first module is about tokens in Python, second variables and assignments, third simple input output, fourth data types. So moving forward, our first module, that is tokens in Python. So what are the tokens? The smallest individual unit in a program is known as token. Everyone knows how to write a program. So the smallest individual unit of that program is known as a token. So Python has following tokens: first keywords, second identifiers, third literals, fourth operators, fifth punctuators. So moving forward to the next, that is keywords. So what are keywords? Keywords are nothing but predefined words with special meanings to the language compiler or interpreter. These are reserved for a special purpose. Like whenever you define a program, then you are using special keywords. That is, it can be if, not, pass, continue, as, except, etc. You can refer to this table in the slide. So these are the some examples of keywords. So moving forward to the next slide, that is we are having about identifiers. Identifiers, by the name it identifies like whichever thing you define in a program is needed to be identified. That is, identifiers are the names which are given to different parts of the program via variables, objects, classes, etc. Whenever you write a program, then initially you define the variables. So these variables are known as identifiers that are identified in the later programs. Okay, so following are the naming rules for Python identifiers. First, variables must be non-keyword without spaces. Like whenever you define a variable, there should be that should not be a keyword, and that too without spaces. Second, variable names can consist of only letters, numbers and underscore. So whenever you define a variable, it can consist of only letter, number and underscore, not other than these three. Okay, so third is variable names cannot begin with a number, although it can have a number. So whenever you define a variable, it cannot start with a number. Like you cannot define variable by 39 file. That is a wrong definition of a variable. So here are the examples like my file, underscore my file, file 12. These are some valid variables. Moving forward to the next slide, that is about literals. So what are literals? You are using in the programs, but have you ever tried to know what are literals? So come on, let's see what are literals. Literals are those that have a fixed constant value. So whenever you define a program, you always define a literal. So here are some types of literals. First is string literals. By the name it suggests that a literal is a string. So a string here means that a string is a group of alphabets. Okay, string is a group of alphabets. Remember these things, like string is a group of alphabet. I'm repeating this again. Okay, so string, it is a sequence of characters surrounded by single or double quotes. So whenever you type or define a string in your program, so you'll be giving a variable name like string1 and then hello world. So here hello world is a string literal. Okay, so there are two types of string literals, that is of a single line and multi-line. So single line you can see in the example number 1, string 1 that is, and for multi-line we are using backslash. Here backslash means that you are going to the next line. So that will be printing hello in the first line, in the second line world will be printed. Okay, so coming to the next, numeric literals. By the name it says that the literals will be consisting of numeric values. So these are numeric values. So following are the types of numeric literals. Okay, first int. Int, by the name it suggests that it is a short form of integers. So int, that is signed integers, often called as integers. They can be positive, negative, whole numbers with no decimal point in it. So you can see the examples like 1, 2, 3, 4 in decimal form. In octal form we are having 0, O, 35. Pay attention to the second example, that is 0, 035. And coming to the next example, that is 0x73 in hexadecimal form. Another numeric literal we are having, that is floating point. Floating point means that it will be having a decimal part in it. For example, 0.75, 3.56, etc. Coming to the next slide, that is of complex literal. Complex literal you might have studied in class 10th, 11th, like complex numbers, that is in the form of a plus ib. So here we are using complex literal as a plus bj, where a represents the real part and j represents the imaginary part of that number. Okay, so coming to the next literal, that is boolean literal. Boolean literal represents two values, that is either true or false. So coming to the next, that is special literal. Python has one special literal which is known as none literal. It's used to indicate the absence of a value. Coming to the next slide, that is operators. What are operators? Operators are those tokens that perform some action when applied to variables and other objects in an expression. For example, if you type a plus b, or take an example of 1 plus 2. So here plus sign is an operator, and when this operator is applied to 1 and 2, then we'll be getting a result as 3. So here the operator is performing some actions on 1 and 2. So these are known as operators. So following are the types of operators. First we are having arithmetic operators. You can see plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus, exponentiation, floor division. So these are some arithmetic operators. Next, bitwise operators, likewise shift operator, relational operators, logical operators, membership operators, arithmetic assignment operators. So these are some operators that we'll be using in our programs. Coming to the next slide, that is about punctuators. These are used in programming language to organize sentence structure. So whenever you write a program, then you might have noticed that you will be using curly braces, square braces, hash, comma, inverted comma. So these are nothing but punctuators, and these are used to organize some sentence structures. Coming to the next slide, that is about variables and assignments. So variables are nothing but the small variables. Variables are those which are declared in a program to indicate a particular object. So for example, if when we are creating a program to print students' name and age, then we need to declare two variables, that is name, age. So these two variable names can be of anything. Like here I am printing students' name and age, so I am giving name and age. So you can write any name for these variables. So here you can see the example, name equal to Elizabeth, age equal to 45. Here name is a variable name, age is also a variable name. So print here is the statement which will be printing name and age. So here name and age are variables. So you can see the output, the above program will print like Elizabeth and 45. Variable represent label storage locations whose values can be changed during program run. Okay, coming to the next slide, that is dynamic typing. So what is dynamic typing? A variable pointing to a value of a certain type can be made to point to a value or object of different type. Okay, this is known as dynamic typing. For example, you can say that if x is referring to a value of integer type, and then in the later program you are assigning x to a string type, then it won't raise any error. For example, you can see over here, if x equal to 10 is that we have defined initially, and after that we have defined x equal to hello world, that is of string type. So here Python will not raise an error because Python supports dynamic typing. Okay, so we can say that Python makes a label refer to a new value with new assignment. Okay, coming to the next, dynamic typing versus static typing. So static typing is nothing but the data type attached to a variable when it is defined is fixed and cannot be changed in later program. So while working with static typing, if x equal to 10 is defined in the first part, and if you are trying to define x equal to string in another part in the same program, then it does not support. Whereas in dynamic typing we can do the same thing. Coming to the next, multiple assignments. So here assignments means you are assigning values to the variables. So here we are having two different types. First, assigning same value to different variables. Pay attention, assigning same value to different variables. You can see in the example a equal to b equal to c equal to 10. So here we are assigning a, b, c with value 10. All a, b, c and c values, a, b, c and all three variables a, b and c will be having a value as 10. So coming to the next part, assigning multiple values to multiple variables. Okay, so pay attention, assigning multiple values to multiple variables. In the previous one we have assigned same value to different variables, but here we are doing multiple values to multiple variables. So here we are having three variables x, y and z, and at the same time we are assigning different values like 10, 20 and 30. So here x will be assigned as 10, y will be assigned as 20, z will be assigned as 30. So here we are having another feature in our Python, that is swapping values with one another. Like here xy equal to yx. So here x will be assigned with value of y and y will be assigning the value of x. Okay. So thank you. I hope everyone is understood with these concepts of today. Okay. All the best. Thank you.